Imagine walking into a room filled with legendary stars, but the one person who effortlessly commands the spotlight doesn't even try. That's Dean Martin, the man who could turn a simple joke or an off-the-cuff remark into a legendary moment. Want to know the secret behind his magic? Stick with me for the next few minutes, because what you're about to see will redefine how you think about comedy, charm, and the very essence of cool. Back to our subject. Dean, do you support sex education in schools? Dean responds with a wry grin, no, I've always preferred cars. With that single line, Dean Martin encapsulated his carefree, effortlessly charming persona. He was the king of subtlety, able to make a profound point or deliver a punchline with nothing more than his cool demeanor and a glance. In a world dominated by entertainers who were always on the edge, pushing boundaries with their extravagant performances, Dean Martin stood out for his relaxed style. While Don Rickles built his empire on sharp, biting insults, and Jerry Lewis became a household name for his high-energy antics, Dean was a study in contrast. Dean Martin was born Dino Paul Krosty on June 7, 1917, in Steubenville, Ohio. His rise to fame wasn't marked by the usual theatrics. Instead, it was his effortlessly smooth style that drew people in. He was the perfect blend of a crooner and a comedian, two roles that helped shape the golden age of Hollywood. His career spanned decades, from his breakout in the 1940s as part of the Rat Pack to his later success as a television and music icon. By the 1960s, Dean had become the face of cool, the embodiment of effortless charm. He didn't need to try too hard to entertain, he just was. That laid-back style made him an integral part of American culture, and Hollywood adored him. "Is this my cue card?" Dean quips, glancing down at the card in his hand as if surprised by its presence. "I should get an Academy Award for reading this line," he says, maintaining that quintessential dry delivery that fans came to love. The key to his success wasn't just in his performances, but in his ability to turn the mundane into the extraordinary. For Dean, every line, every moment was an opportunity for effortless humor. His comedic timing was legendary. Much of his success can be attributed to his ability to remain calm and collected in the most chaotic situations. By the early 1960s, his TV appearances were drawing millions of viewers each week, a testament to how beloved he was by the American public. His ability to make people laugh with just a glance or a clever remark became his trademark. In fact, his variety show, The Dean Martin Show, which ran from 1965 to 1974, was one of the most watched programs of its time. It became known for its casual, unpolished vibe, where mistakes weren't seen as failures but as part of the charm. Whether he was hosting a guest, singing a song, or simply sitting back and enjoying the moment, Dean's cool, confident attitude made every moment seem effortless. "I'm running on empty and I'm plumb tuckered out. Mind if I take a seat and rest my tucker?" Dean's ability to deliver lines with such deadpan humor and perfect timing is what made him a comedic genius. According to a 1969 Life magazine profile, Dean's appeal lay in his authenticity. His humor never felt rehearsed or forced. He was who he was, and that's what people loved. His deadpan delivery, paired with his disarming grin, made him a unique figure in entertainment. By the time he was in his 40s, Dean had already established himself as a cultural icon. In fact, by 1965, Dean Martin was so ingrained in the fabric of American entertainment that his popularity had surpassed even some of Hollywood's biggest stars, earning him a devoted fan base across the globe. The next 15 minutes will unfold exactly why Dean Martin was the embodiment of effortless cool. The scene begins with one of his timeless love songs, drawing the audience into a warm, romantic mood. But don't be fooled by the soft melodies, because just moments later, Dean will pull you into his world of unpredictable charm. His shows often opened with Dean serenading the audience with his velvety voice, which had earned him recognition as one of the best crooners of his generation. His smooth delivery of classics like That's Amore and Everybody Loves Somebody made him a staple of the 1960s lounge and nightclub scene. If you were a guest on Dean's show, you never knew quite what to expect. Heck, even Dean didn't always know what was coming next. Take, for instance, his legendary closet bit. Dean would stand in front of a closet door, and without saying a word, someone would step out. Even he, the master of improvisation, had no clue who would emerge next. The audience, fully aware of the uncertainty, would erupt in laughter, not just at the surprise, but at Dean's reaction, the calm, cool attitude that made everything, even the unknown, seem effortless. His improvisational skills were a big part of what made the Dean Martin Show so unique. During the show's run, Dean regularly engaged in playful banter with his guests, many of whom were iconic figures of the time, including Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and even President Ronald Reagan. The brilliance of that moment lies in the balance of Dean's playful, mischievous Uncle Dean persona and the innocent, almost childlike charm of someone like Goldie Hawn. Together, they created a comedic masterpiece, and Dean, with a grin, said, "Oh, it's just wonderful having you on my show. I've always wanted to get to know you and find out what you're really like." Goldie, always quick with a comeback, laughed. "Yeah, every time I watch you on TV, you always pretend to be so dumb." "You know what I mean," Dean, without skipping a beat, shrugged, a playful smirk tugging at the corners of his mouth. "Yeah, I'm not pretending. I really am dumb." Goldie, feigning confusion, responded, "Well, what can we dumb people do about this?" The beauty of this exchange was in how effortlessly Dean turned a simple, playful comment into a moment of gold. This laid-back, spontaneous humor was part of the reason Dean Martin remains such a beloved figure. His ability to play with language, bend it to his will, and make the audience feel like they were in on the joke was unparalleled. He was the master of unpredictability, and that's what made him so engaging to watch. In fact, his ability to turn everyday moments into comedy was so refined that, decades after the end of his TV show, audiences still find themselves drawn to his timeless style. Dean, ever the master of twisting words, had an uncanny ability to make his statements both baffling and brilliant, leaving audiences both puzzled and amused in equal measure. His wit wasn't just clever, it was seamless, effortlessly blending humor with charm. "Familiarize," he said nonchalantly, attempting to explain how to get fresh with a girl. "That's like when you're getting cozy with a chickie boom," Dean added with a characteristic chuckle. Dean's humor was often laid back, but each word he spoke seemed to resonate with a layer of humor that few could replicate. His style was unhurried, but sharp, and he made every moment seem spontaneous, even when rehearsed. No one, and I mean no one, could match the charm and wit of Dean Martin. Whether it was the way he turned simple phrases into punchlines, or his ability to command the attention of an entire room without even trying, his presence was magnetic. His ability to entertain and connect with audiences in the 1960s was unmatched, making him one of the biggest stars of that era. Dean Martin's rise to stardom came during the golden age of Hollywood, when entertainment icons like Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Jerry Lewis were at their peak. Born Dino Paul Krosty on June 7, 1917, in Steubenville, Ohio, Dean made his first forays into show business as a crooner in the 1940s. His big break came when he teamed up with Jerry Lewis in 1946, forming the iconic comedy duo Martin and Lewis. The pair became a sensation, performing in nightclubs and movies. Their partnership was one of the most successful in entertainment history, drawing massive crowds and producing a string of hit films. But in 1956, after a decade of success, Dean Martin made the bold decision to leave the partnership, striking out on his own. As a solo artist, Dean became one of the most versatile performers of his time. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, he had transitioned seamlessly from comedy into a successful career as a crooner and TV personality. In 1965, he began hosting The Dean Martin Show, a variety program that showcased his talents as both a singer and a comedian. The show ran for nearly a decade and became a cornerstone of television entertainment during the era. Its success reflected Dean's ability to connect with his audience, combining charm, wit, and the laid-back demeanor that made him so beloved. As the music fades in, we find ourselves in the presence of not one, but two legends. When two icons take the stage together, it's usually a moment of magic. But when Dean sang alongside a fellow legend, it wasn't about hitting the right notes, it was about the undeniable connection between them. Their chemistry was electric, not because of the perfection of their performances, but because of the authenticity they shared. Dean had an exceptional ability to engage with fellow artists, whether they were musicians or actors, by connecting with them on a personal level, making every performance feel intimate and spontaneous. This natural charisma, paired with his unique vocal style, made him an enduring figure in American pop culture. In fact, Dean Martin was known for his smooth, velvety voice that became synonymous with classic pop and easy-listening music. Songs like That's Amore, Everybody Loves Somebody, and Voler became timeless hits. Everybody Loves Somebody, for example, was Dean's most significant chart success, reaching 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1964, a rare achievement for a singer of his genre. His ability to effortlessly blend humor, charm, and heartfelt emotion made him a unique figure in music and television. Comedy reached its peak when a wardrobe mishap turned into an unforgettable moment in history. "I can't go on, I'm all choked up," Dean quipped, playing up the drama of the situation. His deadpan delivery had the audience in stitches. "You mean all these sad blues songs were too much for you?" a fellow performer teased. Without missing a beat, Dean responded, "No, I think I've got my shorts on backwards." The crowd erupted in laughter, but Dean wasn't done yet. "Well, you're right," he continued, seamlessly shifting gears. "Those blues songs are awful sad. Let's sing something a bit more bouncy." And with that, the somber tone was banished, replaced by an upbeat tune and Dean's signature wry grin. Just like that, he turned what could have been an embarrassing moment into one of the most memorable scenes in television history. This moment was emblematic of Dean's style. He never shied away from mistakes, but instead embraced them, turning them into opportunities to further connect with the audience. Dean's ability to transform potential disasters into comedic gold was unparalleled. He didn't just accept mistakes, he embraced them. In the world of live television, where things often went wrong, Dean found a way to make those imperfections work for him. Take, for example, the time a dancer flubbed her line live on air. Rather than cutting the segment or letting the mistake hang awkwardly in the air, Dean took it in stride, spinning it into a moment of comedic brilliance. "She made a mistake, not me," he declared, his tone playful, yet full of warmth. His ability to navigate these spontaneous moments with grace and humor only added to his legendary status. Dean's TV show wasn't just about comedy, it was about creating an atmosphere of warmth and authenticity, which is why it resonated with viewers. At its peak, The Dean Martin Show attracted over 20 million viewers weekly. This level of popularity was rare for a variety show, and it cemented Dean's place as one of the top TV stars of the 60s. His natural ability to interact with his guests made the show feel like a relaxed gathering of friends, rather than a scripted performance. This casual atmosphere allowed him to showcase his quick wit and charm in ways that felt organic and effortless. In another instance, Dean found himself comforting a female guest in his usual quick-witted way. "Do you want us to turn him back into a woman?" he asked, joking about a mix-up. "No, I just want you to meet my husband," the guest replied, playing along. Dean's natural charisma made these moments feel effortless, as if the lines between performer and guest were blurred. Dean's ability to make people feel at ease, whether they were seasoned performers or first-time guests, was one of the reasons why his show became a phenomenon. He made every guest feel like they were the most important person in the room, which made the entire experience more enjoyable for both the audience and the performers. At another point, a dancer missed a step on live television. Most people might have seen it as a mistake to be corrected, but not Dean. Instead of criticizing or pointing out her error, he responded with his usual generosity and mischief, turning the blunder into another opportunity to connect with the audience through humor. This combination of generosity, humor, and spontaneity was part of what made Dean Martin such a beloved figure. His natural ability to turn potential mishaps into comedy moments, while keeping everyone involved relaxed and entertained, made him one of the most memorable entertainers of his era. Dean Martin's magic wasn't about perfection, it was about authenticity. He was a master of creating moments that felt real, that felt like a conversation with an old friend. Whether it was a slip of the tongue, a wardrobe malfunction, or an impromptu joke, Dean had the rare ability to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. By embracing mistakes and owning them, he created a style of entertainment that was both relatable and deeply entertaining. His legacy as one of the most iconic figures in American entertainment endures to this day, and his influence can still be felt in the comedy and music world. Through his TV appearances, his smooth singing career, and his effortless charm, Dean Martin became a true cultural icon, one who will forever be remembered for his wit, his warmth, and his ability to make everyone feel at home in his presence. Even Dean, for all his effortless charm and confidence, couldn't help but feel a sense of intimidation when surrounded by the raw talent of his colleagues. But despite that, he always took it in stride, responding with the same cool, unflappable demeanor that made him a household name. One such moment occurred when a colleague tried a particularly tricky move during a performance. With a grin, Dean playfully exclaimed, "You dirty rat," a line so sharp and well-timed that the audience erupted in laughter. It was in these moments that Dean's brilliance shone. His comparisons were sharp, his wit quick and biting, cutting through moments of confusion with ease. Whether he was cracking jokes about his own wardrobe malfunctions or playfully engaging with a fellow legend, Dean knew how to keep the audience entertained without ever breaking a sweat. Dean's ability to roll with the punches was evident in a moment during a musical performance. Things took a comical turn when the sounds surrounding him turned discordant and jarring. Rather than getting frustrated, Dean took it all in stride, and in true Dean Martin fashion, he attempted his own hand at this bizarre new form of punctuation music. The scene reached its peak of hilarity when Dean and his fellow performer, unsure of what they were doing, tackled the classic song Maria, only to turn it into a musical disaster. But this wasn't just a disaster, it was comedy gold. "Fly Me to the Moon," they sang with all the sincerity of two men completely out of their element, unsure of the next note. The result: an audience roaring with laughter, proving once again that Dean's effortless charm could turn anything, even a musical mishap, into a triumphant comedy moment. As a performer, Dean also had a talent for playfully roasting his closest friends. One of the most memorable moments was when he aimed a brutal yet hilarious remark at none other than Frank Sinatra. "What, you sure you're doing okay there, Frank?" Dean said bluntly, a comment that may have been seen as cutting if it weren't for his warm, friendly tone. This kind of playful banter was at the heart of Dean's friendships. He didn't just entertain his audience, he engaged with them, making them feel like they were part of the joke. For Dean, the spotlight was as much about connection as it was about performance. Dean's natural charisma wasn't just reserved for the audience, it extended to every interaction, no matter how small. When it came to luck, Dean always seemed to have it in his pocket, waiting for the perfect moment to shine. Even the smallest mishaps, like wardrobe malfunctions or minor slip-ups, never fazed him. Instead, he handled them with ease, transforming any potential awkwardness into an opportunity for humor. Dean understood something that many performers didn't. Mistakes were part of the show, and if you could laugh at them, so could the audience. As each show came to a close, Dean always had a unique way of saying goodbye, whether it was with a playful jab at the audience or sharing a lighthearted moment with his friends. "Okay, Frank, heads or tails?" Dean would ask with a grin after a brief playful exchange with his iconic friend. These moments weren't just part of the script, they were a testament to Dean's genuine spirit and his ability to make everyone feel like they were in on the joke. He didn't just entertain, he made everyone around him feel special, effortlessly drawing them into the fun. In true Dean fashion, even the smallest things, like catching a fly, became iconic. As the fly buzzed around, Dean, with his usual grace and ease, casually snatched it out of the air, never breaking character, never missing a beat. It was moments like this that cemented his place as one of the most effortlessly cool performers in history. And when the delivery guy arrived with the mail, Dean quipped, "Who am I?" "I'm Armin Crunch, the head of NBC's mail department," as if this were the most natural thing in the world. His quick thinking and spontaneous humor made him seem like someone you could just hang out with, one of the guys, but with a star quality that no one else could replicate. No one had more fun on stage than Dean Martin. His ability to make the simplest moments magical was unparalleled. Whether he was engaged in playful banter with friends or cracking up the audience with his impromptu remarks, Dean never failed to entertain. As the show drew to a close, his wit, charm, and unmatched presence continued to resonate with his audience, leaving a lasting impression on everyone who tuned in. With one final flourish, Dean closed out his show in his signature laid-back style. "Oh, give me a hot dog and an orange freeze," he would call out with the same effortless cool that had made him an icon. It was moments like this, spontaneous, funny, and entirely Dean, that made him one of the most beloved entertainers in the history of television. His ability to turn even the simplest moments into lasting memories is what set him apart from his peers and solidified his place as an icon in American entertainment. If you want to keep diving deeper into the magic of Dean Martin, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more unforgettable moments from the legends of entertainment. You're about to see how the Magi. Sea of Dean's humor didn't just end on stage, it bled into his everyday life, making him one of the most influential figures in Hollywood history. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next chapter of his incredible journey. And don't forget, share this with a friend who needs a dose of real charisma and humor today. Dean Martin didn't just entertain, he made you feel like you were part of something bigger. Whether it was his effortless charm, his quick wit, or the way he turned a simple moment into something legendary, Dean left a lasting impact on Hollywood and the entertainment industry as a whole. As the show drew to a close, Dean would leave his audience with one final remark, casual, funny, and unforgettable. "Oh, give me a hot dog and an orange freeze," he'd call out, and just like that, the show was over, but his legacy, it's still here, timeless and as captivating as ever.